After finishing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, and 4, Turtles in Time, I decided it was time to complete every Konami TMNT beat-em-up game. So we're back at the Nintendo Entertainment System for their last TMNT beat-em-up for the system. This is TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project. Essentially the same game as the last time, but with improved visuals and slight alteration to the combat that gives it just a bit more impact to keep combat from being too boring in comparison to the second game. So let's finish this up already and dive into TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project, starting with the plot. The story begins with the Turtles hanging out in Miami, Florida, enjoying their vacation when Shredder appears on the TV, having kidnapped April O'Neil, and has also taken the entirety of Manhattan from the Earth, hovering it above the sky, demanding the Turtles come and face him so he could probably dine on turtle soup, like he always says. Hey, you can't expect creativity from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now. They're originally a comic book after all, and if there's one thing you gotta remember about comic books, is they are indeed the most creatively bankrupt form of entertainment out there. Just rehash upon rehash and cheap, lazy, uncreative loopholes to bring people back to life after they kill them off, just in the previous issue, like some stupid amulet that revives them, or they find another Superman in an alternate universe. I'm so sick of it. I'm done with superheroes or comic books.
You f***ing ashes! I am done! Yeah!
The game is basically the same experience all around like TMNT 2, the arcade game, except they did improve the combat by adding the ability to switch between the turtles when you lose a life. You can now toss enemies too, but only around the screen and not at it. That wasn't added till the 4th game on the Super Nintendo. Also, each turtle has their own special move. Leonardo can tornado spin with his 2 swords, Mikey can back leap kick, which is only useful against aerial enemies, Raphael can pull a Raiden with his leap forward spin attack, for Donnie, he can leap forward and swing his staff a few times. Doing these moves will drain your health and can get you killed, so don't abuse them. Unless you use infinite lives like I do, because this is an arcade game at heart, and as such, is full of all kinds of arcade BS mechanics. If you can beat this game without using cheats, you're a no-life who needs to touch grass and get some puss.
Got him!
The first level is composed of the beach and pier. You'll fight the basic purple ninjas, but also these buttholes that throw sand in your eyes as an attack. Okay, I like that. That's a nice little cheap shot. Fits in with the TMNT humor, I guess. There's nothing special about this level, except the orange ninjas like to crawl through the sand and jump out to ambush you. Also, the pier is falling apart, with many holes appearing for that classic trap. I mean, it's American architecture after all. Can't expect it to be durable. We're the Western Chinese quality when it comes to construction after all. Ninjas will hide behind signs to try and squash you and have you face Rocksteady as the end stage boss. Rocksteady is the boss, huh? Gee, just like the last game, he's the first boss. I wonder how much this game will rehash the second game. The second level features one of my most hated parts about the TMNT beat-em-ups. The surfing levels are back, with all the BS to boot. You got ninjas leaping out of the water in large groups, making it hard to dodge them. You got flying ninjas, which are difficult to hit, but at least with Mikey, you can use his special leap to kick them, but in turn that drains your health and easily gets you killed. Thank God for infinite lives. Also, of course, there's electrical balls that keep spawning out of the water, and they are very hard to dodge and attack, and you'll constantly get zapped by them. But then the stage isn't over. Now it's time to jump onto the Foot Clan submarine with impossible to hit fireball turrets, pop-up turrets that you can destroy, and tons of ninjas. We get introduced to some new Foot Clan, those being the Cayenne or Teal or whatever ninjas that throw shurikens and daggers and stuff at you, and come out of nowhere with two of them using some type of laser weapon to form a trap that zaps you if you're caught in it. But then we get to the boss at the end. This is Ground Chuck. I never seen this guy before. As it turns out, he's a new character and a part of this game. Also, he later appears in Shredder's Revenge. That's neat. After pissing off the Hindus, we make our way to the Brooklyn Bridge, which is crumbling after Shredder took the entire city of Manhattan. In fact, there are several parts showing how the entirety of Manhattan is breaking away, which is a nice attention to detail. So we move along the fallen bridge straight out of a nursery rhyme, trying to dodge wrecking balls. Oh god, they brought the wrecking balls back. And avoiding pits of doom. We also get introduced to a new enemy type, some kind of rock guys that pack a punch and can easily knock you across the screen, especially if you try to jump attack them. They're very annoying. Bebop himself will appear in his truck to run you over and toss explosives, but the Foot Clan gets some new weapons too. They brought ninjas with those cartoon weight tons and some spears, but also they can toss those wrecking balls. Gotta hate these throwing enemies. In numbers, they become a severe nuisance. Then, the ninjas introduced white ones with swords, and we fight a mini-boss partway into this level. You remember Slash, right? The savage-looking TMNT guy? Like if Leonardo did fentanyl for a living. He's not that hard in comparison to TMNT 4 though. But after beating him, the stage goes on. Yep, he was just a halfway there boss. We get more ninjas throwing stars and boomerangs now? They're just the throwing ninjas. Let's just call them throwing ninjas for the ease of understanding going forward. The stage just keeps going on and going on and going on with more of those rock guys. Oh boy, howdy, do I love these rock guys that are seriously pissing me off at this point. After a long struggle, I got to the final boss of this level, Bebop, who has a freaking mini wrecking ball on his head. Okay, now the developers are trolling. You cannot jump attack him, and he cheap shots you every step of the way. It's a long time consuming fight of non-stop deaths and trying to land a single hit on him before I was able to win. Thank God for infinite lives. We then take the TMNT blimp, yeah, remember that from the show, to the streets of Manhattan, watching as the roads break away from the sidewalk. Not gonna lie, this left me uneasy as to what may come next. I figured they were going to start introducing a bunch of BS platforming mechanics into this beat-em-up to really milk your quarters. And yes, this is a home console port of an arcade game, but still, they tend to keep the arcade BS mechanics intact when porting games over to a console, which I'll never forgive them for and count it as a con in the score at the end. Anyways, we fight the usual ninjas with manholes to fall in and for ninjas to jump out and toss those manhole covers. Have you ever tried to move a manhole cover? Those things are not light. Good God, that's an emergency room visit. No, that's a morgue destination trip if you ever got whacked by one of those things. Those things are freaking flying death saucers. Wrecking balls once again appear. Oh, lovely. I just love these things. If you've seen my other TMNT reviews, you know just how much I freaking love these freaking things. Eventually moving towards the park area, we fight rock guys and throwing ninjas galore. Oh, and the white ninjas now have whips. Lovely. With those throwing guys using barrel drums now to capture you in. Oh, that's very fun. Oh, the level isn't over yet? Yep. Folks, as we now move into the subway station, things continue to go on forward. This level just drags on forever, which is going to be a common trend for the rest of this entire playthrough. Yeah, they really padded out this game. So you now walk into the subway station, with Foot Clan members arriving by train to swarm you, and the game chugs. Once there's more than 2 ninjas on screen, the game just slows down to a crawl. What is this, a Bethesda game for the Nintendo Entertainment System? But eventually you do get to fight a boss, who is Dirtbag, another original character made for this game, and would later appear in Shredder's Revenge. He's not that difficult, as I just spammed Raph's special attack constantly till he was dead.
Roughfire wins. Bullshit victory.
Oh, for crying out loud. Of course, the next level is a frickin' sewer. Why does every video game need a frickin' sewer? You know what? I'm not even going to do a sewer count anymore. I've skipped it in quite a few videos. I'd rather just get this level over with, as there's not much to say. You just fight the same old Foot Clan members till you get near the end, with a new enemy, some sort of robot flying bug that likes to kamikaze into you. They're hard to hit, and I was actually ready to stop playing the game at this point. The frustration of all these non-stop hordes of enemies drags on for too long. All these BS cheap shotting enemies like the rock guys, throwing ninjas, and robots. Then, in a sewer level, on top of all of it, he was just asking for a rage quit right about now. Oh, goody gumdrops, they brought back the ankle biter bots too. Just great. Thankfully though, we move on to a boss who's just a foot and a giant ankle biter. That's pretty easy to defeat. Wait, this isn't the end of the level? After more agony, we make it to the actual final boss of this level. Finally! Who is Leatherhead? Of course it is. New York City alligators in the sewers? Right? Right. Well, he's a pain in the behind, till I switched to Raph and just spammed his special attack once more.
Roughfire wins. Bullshit victory.
We're nearing the home stretch, folks. Time to jump into the Technodrome and get to Shredder to save April. Again, because they can't be bothered to make her useful to the 2003 TV series, which is my personal favorite. If there's one thing I don't miss about the past is the non-stop damsels in distress cliche. It's mostly Nintendo who sticks to it these days. Can't expect Shigeru Miyamoto to have any ounce of creativity now. He made Star Fox Zero after all.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Oh right, we were talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, right? Right. Anyways, you fight through the Technodrome, which introduces a few new enemies. You got stronger robots with laser guns, and those annoying little shocking bots that spawn in via capsules that explode into several little robots that scatter all over the screen. Oh, how lovely. I'm oh so enjoying this level already. You just make your way towards the right, fighting non-stop hordes of enemies till you get to my most favorite part of the game. 3 rock guys spamming rocket launchers non-stop at you, make it impossible to pass, make it impossible to jump attack them, or get near them with a normal attack. This is clearly a classic arcade BS mechanic moment, used to milk quarters left in the home port. But after getting past those annoying little guys, you get another new enemy. More flying drones, which are a pain to hit and move quickly. Oh god, I hate these frickin' flying enemies. Oh wait, what's this? You gotta fight hordes of enemies while trying to dodge moving lasers on a moving treadmill? Okay, the developers are trolling. I can hear the circus music now. I'm so freaking ticked off at this point. This level is going on for too long. Where is the boss?
Bad touch, stranger danger.
Okay, this is nightmare fuel. They made Razor into an SCP, till Rudy 34 decides it wants to help you, like another certain canine SCP wants to.
Stop!
Okay, so he's a total pushover. You won't struggle to fight Razor, which is weird. You'd think since we're nearing the end, the bosses would become something else. But no, Razor goes down much like skyscrapers do in New York City. You wanna know why Razor was a total pushover? Because after you defeat him, you get right to the next boss, Shredder. Yep, a mini boss right before a major boss. Konami was a bit of a masochist, weren't they? What sucks as well is Shredder is a total pansy. He's beaten quicker than the French were by the Germans in World War II. Now that we've saved April and all gathered around her... I've seen this before on the internet.
Hey, stop! Why? I just don't get it. I always catch you fuckers watching this sick shit. This is sickening.
Go to the church and ask God to forgive you.
For the end game, we must pursue Shredder by taking the classic level lift up to the surface and onto a skyscraper. This lift section goes on for way too long with an easy death fall trap if you're not careful. Don't play as Raph at this point is all I'm going to be saying. Once on top of the building, you will fight non-stop hordes of Foot Clan as they just use everything they've got at this point. Tons of weapon throwers, tons of weapon wielders. Rock guys are also in huge supply, just cause Konami knows I love them oh so much that I must simply have more of them. Then, to rehash the subway train swarm, they have a chopper continuously dropping off more Foot Clan for what felt like forever. These are the parts I'm talking about when I say padding in games sucks. It's one thing that you need to travel long distances to get to your objective and stuff, but to continuously fight non-stop along the way isn't fun. That was one of my main criticisms of Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, but I get it. Again, arcade BS mechanics. Those machines must have been overflowing with quarters for anyone stupid enough to play the actual cabinet instead of using the home port with cheat codes. As for the boss of this level, it's Toka. Since this game came out at the time of the second movie, yes, this is old, 1991 after all. Good God, I am old too. We got Toka and Razor from the film as bosses. Just like Razor, Toka was a piece of cake. The final level is home to a lot of pain and suffering. As it should be, it's the final level. What is there to say at this point, folks? It's literally everything you've faced in this game up to this point. All types of ninjas are here. All the robots are here. The rock guys are back in blue with sonic beam weapons. Eventually, get to one of the bosses. Yes, you heard me right. There's several bosses in the final level.
Good Lord!
We get the first of the trio, this being another giant ankle biter bot controlled by a foot. Giant ankle biter bot controlled by a foot? What is this, a sci-fi movie directed by Quentin Tarantino? Whatever. It goes down like the Detroit Lions in every single game, and I can say it because I'm from Michigan, and I would know what it's like to be disappointed in sport teams that represent your state.
You ain't lying.
Afterwards, you just fight more foot, robots, and rock guys till you get to the second boss. Crane finally shows up for the first time outside of their spacecraft we teleported into alongside Shredder at the beginning of the level. He isn't that hard, but he will split into two, using his legs to kick you across the screen and using his torso to fly around and swoop down and
Drax. Sklounts.
But once defeated, he runs away like an anti-vaxxer does when confronted with facts and logic. Leading us to the finale, fighting Super Shredder, who uses the secret of the ooze to mutate himself into a monster. He will swish around, teleporting around and everything, punching and kicking you like crazy before firing off lasers from his hand, which track you. But otherwise, he isn't a hard boss. In fact, he's kind of a joke, kind of like in TMNT 4. Afterwards, the city of Manhattan is returned to the Earth and the credits roll. There's no celebration, no, you didn't beat the game within a certain time limit, or you didn't beat the game on hard type of middle finger, akin to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles IV, Turtles in Time, or the arcade game. Instead, it's just the credits, and it's over. Honestly, not sure what else to talk about other than the music is good for an NES game, and it was a lot more fun than the second game with the slight improvements introduced into the combat. Out of the 3 TMNT games I've played so far, being 2, 3, and 4, I have to say Turtles in Time is no doubt the best overall of the classic TMNT beat-em-ups. But I still have yet to play and review the Hyperstone Heist for the Sega Genesis to truly find out which Konami TMNT game is the best. At the end of the day, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles III: The Manhattan Project is a slightly improved beat-em-up from its predecessor, but still falls short due to the limitations of the console and the time it came out in. Yet that doesn't hinder my enjoyment of the game. My real complaints lie in the arcade mechanics like unfair enemy attack patterns, the sheer number of them, and cheap shots there are. Thank God for Infinite Lives cheat. TMNT 3 is an average fun game, well worth checking out, and with the modern emulated version in the TMNT Cowabunga Collection, available on almost every platform today, you can enjoy it along with many other TMNT games. No need to track down the original NES copy. Eventually, I'll finish the Hyperstone Heist and finally cover all the Konami TMNT beat 'em up games. Till then, see y'all later.